Hi, good morning, everyone. So today I'm sitting down with James Croser, the Managing Director of Delta Lithium, which is ticker code DLI, Delta Lima, India. So Delta Lithium is focused on the exploration and development of the Mount Ida Lithium Project and the rapid exploration of the Yinnetharra Lithium province in Western Australia. The company has also a defined gold resource that is co-located within the Mount Ida project. And for those who may not know, for just some quick information, Delta Lithium was actually previously known as Red Dirt Metals. And in fact, Shares and Value recommended them back in 2022. So much can change in 2 years, right? So welcome, James. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks, Gia. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. So where are you beaming in from today?
I'm beaming in from a fairly cloudy and threatening to rain Perth.
But you're from my hometown, Western Australia, Perth, right?
Yes, Perth's hometown now, but I spent a lot of time in Kalgoorlie. But yeah, now in Perth.
Excellent. So, James, normally we would talk about the board and the management towards the end, but today I'm going to be super curious. So let's start off this discussion by talking about your board and the major shareholders. I mean, can you elaborate on this further for me?
Yeah, sure. I guess we have a very strong share register. In particular, our top four is dominated by Mineral Resources with 23% of the register. And then beneath them, Idemitsu with 11%, Waratah with 10.7%, and Hancock with 10.7%. Now, I'm sure your viewers will know who MinRes are. They're a very big $15 billion Australian diversified resource company. Hancock Prospecting, obviously that's Gina Reinhardt. Waratah is a very successful, very widely spread lithium investment vehicle out of Toronto in Canada. And Idemitsu is a very large Japanese conglomerate. They're a multi-billion-dollar company also. So we have a very strong registry at the top four. And 7,000 other shareholders, I might add, whom I do hear from quite often. That's wonderful.
I mean, they're really
We are
titans
represented
of the
on.
industry, right, James? I mean, any miner and any investor worth their salt in Australia would know Gina and Chris by first name, in fact.
Yes, they're famous enough to have one name. And you know, if you asked me 4 years ago when I founded Delta Lithium, if I would be happy to have the register that I now have, I'd say you give me that any day of the week. The strategic advantage that it affords our company is something that I've not seen in other companies, and you know, we're very much working towards being able to take advantage of that in due course.
Excellent.
So on our board, we have representatives of MinRes. Chris Ellison needs no introduction. He brings his CEO of Lithium Australia, Josh Thurlow, to the board. And those two gentlemen have more lithium experience than perhaps anyone in Australia. They have worked in lithium for years and years, and all of their learned experience is available to us, which is something we're very grateful for. We also have Steve Kovac, who's the Australian CEO for Idemitsu, and the introductions that he provides into the Japanese market are second to none. We have a very strong relationship with his colleagues from Japan, and there's ongoing discussions with his Japanese colleagues all the time. In fact, they're coming out to site next week, so that'll be a great opportunity to
That's
work with them.
hugely invested. They're even doing site visits.
Yes, they love it. It's usually the opposite season to what they have in Japan. So the last time they were here, they flew out from a Japanese winter into a Kalgoorlie summer, which made for an interesting day's travel. But yeah, they're up for it, and they're very keen and very supportive.
Excellent. So could you expand a little bit more on this slide about this for me?
Yeah, well, this slide really, it's the ingredients that that underpin the value proposition for our shareholders in Delta Lithium. We have a very strong team from the board all the way down to our fieldies. We've very much tuned in to the exploration sector. We believe we know what we're doing out in the bush, and we're able to properly execute our strategy safely and with the requisite level of diligence. Our major shareholders, like I said, they cover the investment community. They cover diversified miners and international conglomerates. We've got significant power that we can draw upon there in due course. The location of our assets, both of our main projects at Mount Ida and at Yinnetharra, are in Western Australia, which, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions, is the best place in the world to try and mine something. And both of those projects have JORC resources for lithium. I think there's perhaps only 15 or 16 lithium resources in Australia, and Delta has 2 of them. So that doesn't come easily. We've drilled a lot of meters at both of those projects, and we've managed to join the dots and come up with these resources. So it's a wonderful foundation for the business to have. And of course, we've got the gold resource at Mount Ida, which is just icing on the cake. And lots of news flow to come. So we're not sitting on our hands. We're doing things, and we'll be telling the market about it.
Excellent. Well, look, the next question I have now, which really segues into all of that, is like, you have a shovel-ready high-grade gold deposits at Mount Ida, which is very attractive given the high gold prices right now, and our love affair with gold. Could you share more information with me on that around this project?
Yeah, well, we purchased Mount Ida back in late 2021 for the gold. I actually mined there as a young miner 20 odd years ago, and I've been underground at Mount Ida, and I know what sort of deposit it is. And it's a high grade shear hosted gold deposit, which is typical of the gold fields.
Yep.
It didn't fall out of the sky, so we're expecting the deeper we drill, the more gold we're going to find, and that's what we've seen. Most of the meters we've put into Mount Ida since we purchased it were in fact for the lithium exploration. We made a discovery there very soon after we acquired it. And as we were drilling all of those lithium holes, we kept hitting gold. It kept getting in the way. So we've decided...
James, it's such a terrible problem you've got.
Yeah, so I know. It kept our geos on their toes. They kept delivering us these wonderful high grade assays, and in time that stitched together into the gold resource that you see there. And probably one of the most exciting aspects is that the Baldock deposit, which is located on the western edge there, the grade of that resource is 4.4 grams per tonne, which puts it in rare territory. That's quite a high grade resource.
Brilliant. Well, look, the next, actually, I have heard, just off topic, I heard that originally when you were Red Dirt Metals, you sought to look for gold, and then you ended up finding lithium, and hence now it's Delta Lithium. Could you confirm or deny?
Well, it is what it is. There was a lot of hype in the lithium market back in 2022, and yes, the company did change its name to be more focused on those lithium investors. And the gold got a little bit forgotten, I guess. I never forgot about it. But now that we're having a little bit of a pause in the lithium market. It's wonderful to be able to pull this gold resource out of the back pocket and bring it to the fore.
Excellent. Could you share more details about the ongoing gold exploration activities at Mount Ida and the project's potential for additional gold? I mean, we spoke very briefly. You said you think the deeper you go, the more gold you find, but could you expand more on that and also the more exploration activities?
Yep, sure. Well, the board's recently approved the drilling a specific gold drilling program, something we haven't done since we acquired Mount Ida. And you can see on the long section there the 3 stages of exploration that we'll be doing around the existing gold resource at Baldock. That is the Baldock long section there. It has a strike extent of about 3 k's. The gold resource extends currently down to around 500 meters. You can see the shape of some of those deeper portions of the gold resource kind of mirrors the lithium resources there. Those big blue pipes are the pegmatite that contain the lithium. So
where my mouse is?
Yeah, that one's called the Timony, and to the right is the Sister Sam.
And the little baby one?
Yeah, that's part of the Timony as well.
Okay.
So you can see some of the deepest holes that we drilled chasing the depths of Sister Sam were some 800, 850 vertical meters below surface. And we continue to hit gold down there.
Wow.
So this targeted drill program that we've currently doing now, we're looking to expand the boundary of the existing resource. So we'll be pushing that outwards.
Okay.
We're very much hoping to get that resource to around 1.25 million ounces. And we've incentivized our people to seek that target. And we're also seeking to prove that the project can deliver a standalone processing option. So we're not incumbent upon third-party processing. So, these are the goals of the current project program of some 40,000 meters, and we're in the middle of it now.
That is really exciting and very, very bullish. So now we're going to go back into the lucrative lithium assets. A maiden large and high-grade lithium resource estimate was announced at Yinnetharra Lithium Project in December 2023. So can you elaborate a little bit more on that now, James?
Yeah, that was the culmination 200 k's of drilling that we did last year after we acquired the Yinnetharra project in late 2022. I think the first drill hole we stuck in was in December 2022. And we've been hard at it up at Yinnetharra since then at the Melinda project. And that's where our maiden resource has been defined. Our teams are out in the field doing the good greenfields exploration across the entirety of our tenure. We have a very large 1,800 square K tenure package up there. So while we're drilling away at Melinda, looking to build our confidence and build the size of that resource, our field teams are out looking for more prospects. Here's a long section of Melinda.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that shows the main pegmatites at Melinda. The M1 is the largest one to the south, the M36 in the middle, and the M47. They're the 3 main ones.
Sure.
And you can see on the cutouts there, the widths and grades are, there's quite good thicknesses and quite good grades in all 3 of those pegmatites.
Brilliant.
We're starting to get into the weeds on the metallurgy, which is obviously the intricacy with all of these lithium projects. It's very important to us that we understand the metallurgy. So the M1, we've recently finished doing a PQ diamond core program to get a 5-ton pilot program underway. And we'll be getting those results over the next few months, and then we'll be employing the same process at the M36 and the M47.
Brilliant. Now, can you please tell me more about the planned exploration programs at Yinnetharra and the news flow we're going to be expecting in the short to mid-term for both now Yinnetharra and Mount Ida? Because it sounds like there's some really exciting upcoming news events.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Yinnetharra slide we're looking at here, that's the recipe that we employ up there. Each one of those dots on the map represents a soil sample.
Yes.
So our geologists and fieldies are out in the field collecting those samples. We then do the laboratory sweep on them, and that allows us to pinpoint the hotspots of anomalism. And once we do that, we go back into those hotspots for more detailed mapping. And then before we drill, we do the access heritage agreement and just establish any tracks that might be needed, get any clearing permits and POWs. So that's what we're doing across the extent of the Yinnetharra tenure. Sorry.
Oh, sorry to interject. I was just curious, just more for our members. So could you just, there seems to be the deeper concentrations of the violets and the pinks versus the green. Can you just briefly touch on that, what that means for us?
Yeah, the green really defines the background for lithium oxide, and that's around 30 to 40 ppm. That particular map is our Jamieson's prospect. And the hotter colors up to the pink. I think the pink is several hundred ppm, and indeed we had rock chips in that hot pink area of Jamieson's up to 4% lithium.
Wow.
We then rolled the drill in there, and you can see on the left there the early results from Jamieson's were very encouraging, and the RC chips under UV light fluoresce beautifully, which is some of the coarsest spodumene that we've seen at Yinnetharra.
Yeah, and just again, quickly, just for measurement. So you said 4% with the hotter colors, but what is average in the industry?
Oh, it depends a lot on your background and the amount of cover you have, but we tend to get excited when we see a trend above 100 ppm. Lithium oxide, yeah.
Okay, so this is very exciting for us because I'm thinking here, just on the graph there, we can do our maths. Perfect. Could you elaborate a little bit more around your strategy now, James, and why I guess Delta is positioned so well to take advantage for the next for the upcoming year?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Delta has a strong balance sheet. We do have a lot of cash in the bank, over $80 million at the moment. We're not going to blow that willy-nilly. We do need to be careful with how we allocate that capital and preserve that cash, particularly while there is a bit of a lull in the lithium market at the moment. So we're being very careful with how we use that money, where we use that money, and we're really in the game of building confidence in our resources. The goal is to develop an operating mine. That's the glittering prize that we seek to attain. That's why mining companies are around. So we wish to build a mine. All our people are pulling in the same direction on that one. We believe that we do have significant value in our gold resource, which is unrealized by the market. So we're seeking to create that value, and for the use of Delta to build our business. And it's hard to ignore the strength of the gold market at the moment, and we've got a beautiful opportunity to be involved in it. So we're not going to miss that opportunity. And obviously at this point in time, with valuations on lithium assets as low as they are, it does afford us a certain opportunity to go shopping if something does take our fancy. So they're basically the pillars of our business at the moment.
And like, look, I like that you're so ambitious that, the goal is to develop an operating mine. So just for our viewers here and our members to understand, is that a strategy that you're already mapping out as we speak already so early on in the piece?
Yeah, of course. As you gain information about your projects, you do develop internal models that where you're imagining what things will look like when you succeed, and it's very important to plan for that success and be able to see it, and the people in your business to be able to understand how to get there. And then we just answer the unanswered questions, and that's what we do. We seek to ask ourselves the questions we need to get answers to, and then we go and get those answers. Just recently we have done an internal scoping study on our gold at Mount Ida.
Yep.
I'd love to be able to tell the market about it, but unfortunately we do need a little more confidence in our resource. But we're certainly using that study internally to help guide us in the direction we need to go to realise the most value for our shareholders, and that's what we're doing.
And do you think like having the titans behind you, given the fact that they are, when you have a major shareholder on board, it's also perhaps the access to, with Chris being on the board, right? That's going to give you a huge leverage and advantage when it comes to developing this operational mine and to leverage all of the efficiencies?
Yeah, look, we basically have all of the resources of MinRes available to us.
Okay.
When and if we choose to use them is entirely up to Delta, but they've certainly been offered to us. And if we can derive some advantage for Delta shareholders by doing so, then it's incumbent upon us to consider that seriously, and we will.
Excellent. That's exactly what our viewers wanted to hear. Look, so we already touched on it very briefly, and I can't ignore this myself. I did notice that you have a robust cash position of $87 million. So you're not small. So can you explain like what this means? Like how will you be able to use this to accomplish your strategy to maximize the value of Delta's assets? And what I have noticed is that you're very judicious with the way you spend it, even with a huge cash reserve.
Yeah, well, it's not our money; it's the shareholders' money. So we're the custodians of it, and we need to come up with the best ideas to move our projects forward that add the most value to them. We need to take into consideration the business environment and the commodity landscape, and all the myriad risk factors associated with being a resource company. That's what we do every day, and we really are keeping our finger on the pulse, and where we see advantage that we can utilize, then we'll take it, and the cash allows us to be considering all of those options when and if they jump in front of us. So it's all about optionality, and we just want to maintain all the options that we have at our disposal for as long as possible.
Brilliant. Well, look, now I'm going to ask you some interesting questions because, look, I can't ignore, well, the team at Shares in Value and us, we can't ignore that you're really a classic M&A play, given that we've recently seen Latin Resources being bought out by Pilbara Minerals, which was only the AFR, which we personally see it as a positive. So how do you see how does you see this might impacting Delta Lithium, or how is Delta Lithium positioned?
Yeah, look, it's always good to see M&A in your sector, and we're very pleased for the guys at Latin, and wish them all the best. It doesn't keep me awake at night thinking about who's going to buy our business and when and why. What I think our best approach to do is to manage our business in the most diligent way that we can, and keep everything tidy. You always need to be sitting pretty, having all of your data clean, having all of your ducks in a row, so to speak, and you've got to present your business forward-facing to the public, as tied up with a beautiful red bow, ready for anyone who may wish to come knocking. And those discussions are always entertaining.
Yep.
You're not looking for them, and perhaps the best way to be attractive is to play a little hard to get.
That's a really measured response, James. I like it that success remains, whilst it's in your heart, but it stays quite grounded. So look, basically, I have one more question for you. Look, basically, Delta Lithium is a stock that we have recommended at Shares and Value in 2022. And a lot of our members have bought in between 30 cents to 60 cents. So given the current valuation, like, what would you say to those members who are still invested with Delta, and also particularly for those who currently have no exposure and looking at buying in at the current levels?
Well, first of all, to our existing shareholders, I say thank you. We're very appreciative of your support. It's very difficult to play commodity cycles, and it's not something that Delta can control. I guess ask yourself the reason why you bought the shares when you did, and if that reason is still intact, then the only ingredient you need to maintain is some patience. And Delta, we remain very optimistic and very enthusiastic about the lithium market. The story is sometimes a little bit confounding and contradictory with what's in the media. So we need to keep the faith and stay zealots, and we are, and we're progressing our projects as if we will be mining them in a more favourable lithium environment sometime in the future.
Okay. Oh no, please continue.
Oh, to people who haven't yet purchased our stock, I would say that the value proposition for Delta at the moment is very easy to calculate and consider. I think our market capitalisation today is perhaps somewhere around 150, 160 million. We have 87 in the bank, so our enterprise value is somewhere around 70 or 80 million dollars. Look at our projects. Look at the two JORC lithium resources we have. Look at the gold resource we have, and ask yourself if you can fit your valuations into that enterprise value. Then maybe we're a good buy.
Well, I guess in summary, I mean, you've got $87 million cash in the bank. You've got some titans walking alongside you. You've got an incredibly driven and talented team, and you've acquired the right tenements. So that's perfect.
That's a very generous synopsis. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, look, James, thank you so much for your time. I mean, I have to say, you did play hard to get with me, actually. We had to hunt you down for a bit to get this interview in place. We're very excited because, as I said, a lot of our members had been reaching out to us personally to request your presence. So thank you so much for being part of this.
You're very welcome. Thank you.